It's been good. The two practices. It's just a lot of young guys playing hard, a lot of energy, trying to fit in a lot of concepts in a small amount of time. But it's, I think both practices have been good. I'm sorry?
What made you better than day one?
No, they were both good. I'm not necessarily grading them. All the guys. What you want is, especially with summer league and young guys, is playing hard, playing with energy, play defense, be willing learners, and they're all doing that.
Is your two night practices? You don't run, do you? It's more like going over schemes and stuff. Or?
No, they'll probably be probably a little more scrimmaging in the evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not the same rules as training camp.
So you're running into the ground?
No, maybe.
You can't talk about two of the players, but overall, with all the additions, how excited are you about it?
Well, I'm very excited to have. We'll probably have 7 roster players on our summer league team, and that gives us a really good opportunity, a head start with the new players to incorporate them in what we want to do, getting to know them a little bit better, their style of play, and it's just a lot of teams aren't that fortunate to have that many players able to play in the summer league. But the rosters, we're still going to have a young roster, and this is a valuable time for all of them.
It looks like you're going to have more options, though, as a coach next year, doesn't it?
Well, that's hard to say. There's a lot of young talent, and we'll have. It's up to us and them to make the most of it, and we'll see how that goes. It's a different roster than last year. I think we will be deeper, but we won't be as experienced. So it's there's a little bit of a trade-off. But I certainly like the roster moves that we both have made and plan on making.
What's the toughest obstacle with such a young roster?
Well, just the learning curve. And I think you see that around the league. Particularly at the defensive end. You look at last year, the bottom 7 teams in defense were all very young teams, and us being one of them. So it's the learning curve for young players at both ends of the floor, but particularly the defensive end.
We saw Allen hit a couple deep threes there when we were allowed in. Are you finding that he's living up to his billing as an active shooter?
Well, he's making his shots. We all know he can make shots. I like the way he moves on the court. He's he's subtle with his movements, but he knows how to move on the court to get his shots. But there's more to it than making two shots. I'm glad we know he can shoot. It's the rest of it. But I've been very pleased with more than just his shooting. I like the way he moves, and I like the way he plays.
And after 2 workouts, how would you evaluate CJ's play so far?
He's good. He looks comfortable at the point guard. He's running the offense. I think defensively he's trying. He's smart. He's all that he's lived up to be. Or build, whatever the expression is. But he's smart. He has a high IQ. He's working hard. He wants to learn. I think he's been very good.
Is there any aspect of his game that has surprised you this point?
No.
You got him down pat.
No, I mean I haven't seen enough to be necessarily surprised one way or the other.
And what you have seen, what kind of early chemistry have you noticed between CJ Allen and the other guys?
Well, I think it's a little early to say there's necessarily chemistry. I think the guys that were here last year know each other, and everybody else is just they're out there picking things up, and they're playing basketball, and hopefully some chemistry to develop along the way. But after 2 practices where you're doing a lot of drills, I think chemistry takes a long time.
With all the new players, what are you anticipating maybe to be able to implement this year that you weren't able to do, or rather than them fitting into your system, how much are you looking to adapt?
I don't anticipate a lot of changes offensively. Obviously we'll tinker with the offense here and there, but my job as a coach is to put them in position to be successful, particularly at the offensive end. I think defensively you're going to see more adjustments for us, changing in some of our pick and roll schemes, more of an emphasis, more of a consistent emphasis on protecting the rim and the paint with our big guys in particular, but putting more responsibility and accountability on all our players to be better defensively, and some of that will come with schemes, some of it will come with experience, some of it will come with personnel changes.